I'm not a bitter person about the Oscars up to now. No, I really am not. I've had so much support from critics, from people who watch the films, and from awards that I got no reason to be too unhappy about any of that.
Acclaimed documentary filmmaker Steve James finally received an Oscar nomination for Best Documentary Feature. In the eyes of many critics, the director of The Interrupters,
Churches, your mama's house, your cars, those are safe zones.
Life Itself and Hoop Dreams had been, until now, majorly snubbed by the Academy Awards.
A unique motion picture experience.
But that's old news. James' latest film, Abacus, Small Enough to Jail, is one of 5 contenders for the biggest documentary prize of the year. The film tells the little-known story of the only US bank prosecuted for mortgage fraud in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. That bank, Abacus, is a small family operation that's been serving Chinese Americans in New York's Chinatown for decades. The film follows the Sung family for months as they fight their cases in court to ensure the survival of their bank.
Why didn't the big banks get prosecuted? Why this little bank when it had no relationship whatsoever to the financial crisis? And they are kind of the mirror opposite of the big banks in every respect. They're small, they discovered the fraud themselves and reported it and tried to root it out themselves, yet they were put on trial in the big banks who did egregious acts of fraud that nearly crashed the world economy. They walked away with bailouts and fines.
银行非常配合曼哈顿检察官的调查，递交了60多万张纸的文件。
他现在要我们认罪呢，这个事情呢，是我们跟这个不能接受他的这个。
It touches on the unequal application of justice in America. Something like 98% of the cases don't go to trial. They result in plea bargains of guilty. I don't believe that 98% of the people charged in this country with crimes are guilty. Well, in this case, you had a family that had the wherewithal to fight back. I think it's also a significant story about family. I've had people come up to me at the end of film festivals, particularly people in the Asian community and especially in the Chinese American community, have come up and said, you know, that's a portrait of family life that I can relate to. And I think that we have this stereotype of Asian households and Chinese households where everyone sort of kowtows to dad and no one would ever dare contradict or disagree with the father, and nothing could be further from the truth in this story.
We see that in the film. You feel for them in all these meetings after their days in court, at the restaurant, or the family meetings,
right.
And they seem to completely ignore the camera.
People get the wrong impression that Chinese are not law-abiding. Well, even if you win the case, the damage,
To us.
the strain on the community is done.
And I want to know, as a director, how do you achieve that level of trust?
In general, people don't forget about the camera so much as they get to a level of comfort with it being in the room. And how do you achieve that? I think a lot of that is due to relationship building. I actually believe that it's important that your subjects enjoy your company. Enjoy having you around to some degree. They're not going to always want you around, for sure. You hopefully get to a place where it feels like this is a film that you're making with them, not just on them. And only one camera. I'm a big believer in single camera shooting, because when you get multiple cameras in a real situation, then it can start to feel like a production and like reality television, which we want to avoid at all costs.
It seems to me that compared to a lot of your other documentaries in the past, this was maybe a more investigative piece.
Pretty early on, you get that we are kind of telling this story through the eyes of the Sung family and that we are sympathetic to them. But at the same time, it does not let us off the hook to present the case against them and present it as fully and completely as possible, which is why we really went out of our way at great effort to get Cyrus Vance Jr. in the film, to get Polly Greenberg, the head of economic crime, in the film.
Remember that there were, I think, 10 guilty pleas here.
And also to get one of the 2 jurors be one of the jurors who was a holdout juror who felt they were guilty.
Again, as a journalist, I thought that was really inspiring, and also the kind of access that you managed to have, that all these people agreed to talk to you.
It wasn't easy, but we got them. And I think it's what lends credibility to the film. I am a fan of films with a point of view, but not to the point of advocacy and ignoring everything that counters the point of view that you have in the film.
How does it feel to finally have your film nominated for Best Documentary Feature?
It feels really good because of this story and the fact that this was this story would have disappeared, literally, I think, without us doing this film. I'm not done with my career, so I don't want to say culmination, but it would be a great thing to get. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just enjoying where we are at right now. I get to spend more time with the Sungs, which is always delightful, and we get to sort of ride this crazy journey a little further.
I didn't think about the fact that being nominated meant you get to bring the characters of the documentary and continue that experience with them. That must be great. It's
wonderful, and it's been, I mean, I've had a lot of great experiences over the years with subjects in the film. It's one of the most fun parts is once the film's done, if they, like the film, of course. To travel around and experience it with audiences with them is a delightful part of it, and none more delightful than this family. I mean, as entertaining as they are in the film, they are still. And with the added thing is that all that stress and strain from that trial is gone now, so they can relax and appreciate it all the more.
Besides enjoying the Oscar ride, James is also working on his upcoming 10-part docuseries America to Me. James and his crew spent a school year following the lives of a dozen students, teachers, and administrators in one of the most diverse and progressive public high schools in the Chicago area. The first 5 episodes recently premiered at Sundance Film Festival, where Starz Network acquired the series for a full release.